Welcome back. So I decided to split lesson 4 because it was just getting too big. And I want to break down into lesson 5, and in lesson 5 we're going to talk about links, we're going to talk about lists, and we're going to talk about JavaScript. Before we talk about JavaScript, I revisited back to our index file because I want to create here links to those files. Basically, I want to be able to call out those specific pages so we have an index. So when a user goes into that HTML landing page that was empty until now, they'll find something. All right, so let me just click on refresh here. There we go. Okay, so let's start with creating a link. And in HTML, the way we create links is by creating an A tag and basically putting inside the A tag the text that we want to be visible in that A tag link. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for all of the different lines here for lesson 2, for lesson 3, and so on and so forth. And this is the A tag, which basically stands for anchor. Now in HTML, we call links as hrefs or hyperlinks, as you've probably heard that before. And in our case, no different. What we want to do is we want to put inside of our A tag, we want to put a link. So to do that, I'm going to type href. And now by default, the link is going to open up in the same window in the same panel, and we're completely fine with that. We're going to look at how do we open up in a different window in a second, but let's just get the links in. So first of all, for lesson 2, the link is lesson2.html. Let's do the same here for lesson 3. And we'll have that hidden gem for lesson 4 for whoever has our access to the files to find all the different links, but we're just going to put the main lesson links. So we're going to do that for lesson 3, lesson 4, lesson 5. Let me just go through, and we're not going to put the intermediate files like the 4_1 inside. That's going to be our extra bonus to whoever is following the course with us. All right, so if I click this and I save this and we open it up again, we're going to see that our links will now have hyperlinks, and each of them will be clickable. And we can see that I have your error here probably because you see that lesser than. So let me look if I put an extra lesser than, and I sure did. So let me delete that. I'm going to save it again and back into my browser. And we'll see that at any point now I could go and click into a specific lesson and go to that lesson. But how about we make this a little bit more organized by basically putting it into a list. Now lists are very simple. The way we create lists is basically we bound the list up like we've bounded everything else. So I'm going to create a list which is going to be unordered, which we're going to use the unordered list tag, which is UL. And again, we're going to close it up in an unordered list. And all that's left for us to do, and we want to close it actually. And all we want to do is we want to go tag by tag and define basically what is the items are going to be inside of each list element. And for that, we're going to set the list item tag and basically set the starting point for that list item in each tag. And if we wanted to, we could put here more info. All right, we're not going to do that, but you get the point. And again, I'm just going to go through every single one of these lines and basically turning them into a list item. Here we go. So we got that finished, and we could refresh our page, and this time around we're going to see them ordered in a list. And again, if you wanted to create more custom CSS, you could, but this is a basic list, and we have it nicely organized the way we'd want it to be. And we might put here maybe a title even before, so we might want to put here an H1. And the projects we worked on. I'm going to click save again, just make sure that it looks okay. And we got ourselves the projects we worked on, which is good enough for me. Let's move on. So that's how we created links. Let's continue, and I want to show you just one more type of link. We're going to go right back into lesson 5 where we're going to continue. So I'm just going to click into lesson 5. So we'll be in our lesson 5 area. And what I want to do is I'm going to go all the way down here to my HTML area, and I'm just going to paste inside another unordered list. And this is just a list with links that I already have defined, and we'll just take a peek at them as soon as I paste them in. Here we go. So I've just created literally a UL, a list. It starts here, it ends here, and it has links to different courses on HTML that we have on our site. I'm going to click on save. And if we go right back into that page and click on refresh, we should find a nice ordered list with all the different courses or some of the courses that we have on HTML in general. Now, so we got our links, we set that up. I just want to talk about one more thing. We had our ordered list and we had our unordered list, but we could create also ordered lists by just changing the UL to be OL. So we want to open and close it with OL for ordered lists instead of unordered. And if we save this and go back again, instead of having these dots, we'll have basically a numeric system that will count how many items are there. And this would be very handy in this case. All right, so that's unordered list, hrefs. Now, and one more problem that we have right now is if you click into something, it's going to take us away from the page that we were at. But what we really want to happen is we want it to open up in a new window. To have it open up in a new window, all we have to do is define the target property and define where we want it to go. In our case, we want it to go to a blank window. Oopsie. Underscore blank. And I'm just going to copy this. So I have this in all the different lines here. Here we go, and I'm going to save it. And if you go right back in there and click on refresh, this time around when we try to open any one of them, they're going to open up in a new window, which is exactly what we want them to do. And again, we're not going into every single option of HTML. We're just going through the main gist so you get familiar, so you understand how things work. And you'll find the documentation anytime you see a property you don't know. But I strongly recommend you go through every single HTML tag and just know what it does.